Hey guys, I'm Chandler Riggs, and you're watching FrConventions. Is there anyone from the cast with whom you would have liked to share more scenes? Oh man, it's so funny because there's so many people on the cast that I didn't get any one-on-one scenes with. Steven actually, who played Glenn. Him and Carl probably shared maybe 3 words to and with each other. All their interactions were off screen. So it would have been fun to have a scene just one-on-one with Steven at one point. And I love Steven as well. He's the best. He's so great. Alright, let's see. Which cast member made you laugh the most between takes? Oh man. Josh is definitely up there, who played Eugene, just because he is he's nothing like his character. he's very grounded and serious kind of most of the time, but then when he's in character, he's the funniest thing on the planet. Oh my gosh, he's hilarious. Yeah, we had some good times on that set for sure. If you could relive one day from your time on the show, which day would it be and why? Man, that's a great question. Oh man. I feel like, there's there's been a couple of times where I'm like, oh man, I wish I could go back and just do that scene differently or something, or go back and just be better, And there's one that sticks out, and it's so sad because it was my last day on set, and I was, I had this whole speech prepared to the whole cast and crew on just how much, the show meant to me of just growing up on the show, and we finished my last shot, and I remember I walked out of the set. I was in the tunnels where Carl was, stuck and dying, and I had walked out of the set, and the entire cast, the entire crew, my parents were there. They were all wearing eye patches, and they were all cheering, that's a wrap, a series wrap on Carl, and I could not get a single word from my speech out. All I could say was, "This was really cool." That's all I could muster. So I feel like if I could relive something, it would be to try to relive that and at least express in words how much it all meant to me. Yeah. All right. Let's see. How do you think growing up on such a huge show shaped the person you are today? Oh man, I think it was the coolest way to get to grow up on a show surrounded by the coolest special effects and coolest makeup, some awesome stunts, and, learning all sorts of things about just production and being efficient on set, and, the main thing, at least my main takeaway, was just how to treat just other people on set. How to treat your cast, your castmates and the crew, and we just had the best leader on the planet for that, and that was Andrew Lincoln, played Rick. He was just the absolute best, and yeah, he just set the example of you show up on set, on time. He never had his scripts in hand, ever. And he knew every single word on the page. He knew every word of stage direction to the word. He knew everybody else's lines. And he remembered everybody's name across the entire crew, and remembered things about them, and would talk to them about whatever's going on in their life, of their family or siblings or something. And that's just the best way to, just set the tone on a set. And then you have all that plus his level of, passion and talent that he brought to the table. I mean, it's why the show, at least in my opinion, was as good as it was, is because he set the tone of like, everyone around him was like, oh, okay, we gotta put in as much effort as this guy. And so I think that was like the best part about growing up on it, is just being a sponge and absorbing all of that, great like role model type stuff. It's great. Let's see what else we got. These are great questions. A lot of me I haven't been asked before. Have fans ever shared a story about Carl that genuinely surprised or moved you? Yeah, I've been so lucky to have been doing conventions this is my 16th year doing conventions. I started when I was 11, like the first year the show came out. And the coolest thing is getting people coming up to me and telling me about how Carl going through, the apocalypse and making it through what he was going through helped them in some way in their life, whether it was, just a hard time of, a time of like just hardship or depression, and people have told me like through cancer, like it's like it got them through their, cancer treatments. So it's just sitting there, getting chemo and just watching the show, and it's like, it's just the craziest thing ever to, because for us it's just we show up to work and we do the scenes on the, that's on the call sheet, and we go home and it's just like a day of work. But, to people watching the show, it's like, it just, it moves them in ways and gets them to connect with these characters in ways that we never imagine or ever dream of. So anytime that it's, we get stories like that, it's the coolest thing in the world. It's why I do what I do, is to make people feel something. If I can make you feel something, then I've done my job. And if I can make you connected to a character like that, it's incredible. It's amazing. Let's see what else we got. All right. Looking back now, has your opinion of Carl changed compared to when you were playing him? I don't know. I think when I was playing him, it was, it was way more of an extension of myself, I think. I had a lot more, just because I wasn't like a trained actor in any way. It was just kind of like, I had my own way of doing things, of just talking myself into character, and but there was a lot of myself, my own like behavior set and sensibilities, and the way I talked, at least at that point in time, talked and walked and moved in space was the same way that Carl did. So I think, just having employed a lot of myself back then, that was just more of who I was. But now it's like, I feel like if I were to go back, or if I were to play Carl again now, it's like I would have a completely different approach, and I think we'd be a lot more different in a way, because my just method is different nowadays. So I don't know if my opinion on him has changed, but how I would approach a character like Carl again would definitely be different. Where do you think we'd find your character 5 years from now? Well, he's dead. So he's 5 years from now, he'd probably still be dead, if I had to guess. But if he wasn't dead, I think, 5 years from now, I don't know. I mean, we kind of get to see in the comic books where he ends up. He is, running a farm. He's got a wife. He's got a daughter. And he's kind of, gotten completely, he's a part of this whole new world that kind of exists without as many zombies in the world. And yeah, it's, I don't know. I think how the comics went is probably how things would end up for Carl in 5 years. All right. if you could have been another character in the show, who would you have chosen and why? 100% Baby Judith, because the amount of times that I had to just stand in the background holding that baby and have to deal with it crying, and it was, oh my gosh, like just to be on set and just be pandered like that would just be incredible. It'd be so great. But we had 7 different sets of twins over the course of Judith being a baby, and they're twins because once it's crying, you just swap it out. And every single time that we would have, we'd have the baby for maybe 2 or 3 months at a time, and then they'd get too big, so they have to swap it out for a new set of twins. And it would be so terrible because as soon as we get to that 2 or 3 month mark, the baby kind of remembers me, kind of knows who I am, and doesn't immediately cry when they're put in my arms. And I kind of get what to do to calm them down, but as soon as that we would get to that point, they would swap them out for a new set of twins, and I'd have to start all over again. And it would be the most frustrating thing. So for sure, would love to be Baby Judith. That would make my life way easier. All right, let's see what else we got. What's the next dream you want to check off your bucket list? Oh man. Well, I'm getting my pilot's license right now, and I don't really know why. I just kind of my uncle is a pilot, and my grandpa worked at a military aircraft production company for 40 years. So I have a lot of airplane stuff in my blood for some reason. But yeah, I don't know if it was always on my bucket list to get my license and complete it. So that's probably what it is right now. Is get it done, complete everything, because I'm still just a student pilot. But yeah, I would say getting my pilot's license. I'd also love to go to space, but that's going to take a lot longer. Are you satisfied with your character's ending? Yeah, I think when my character was not dead, I'd gotten asked a lot, if Carl were to die, then how would I like for him to go out? And I was always I want an epic, final episode, gunshots, explosions, and he's saving the day. And when I heard, or when I got in the news that Carl was going to be killed off, it was not pitched to me very well. Scott Gimple, the showrunner at the time, was yeah, so he's gonna get bit, and then he's gonna bring Sadiq down into the sewer, and that'll be it for him. And I'm it's like a rat. He's gonna crawl into a sewer and die. That sucks. And then I got the script for it, and it's this whole sequence where Negan is coming to Alexandria, and Carl has to get everybody out and stall him while they're blowing up Alexandria, and so I read that and I was man, okay, you know what? I got my gunshots, got my explosions, and Carl saves the day, so I'm satisfied. Yeah, it was a cool last episode. All right. Did any of the veteran actors give you advice that you've carried with you? I don't know as much advice, more so than a technique that I have taken with me, and it was a technique that Andy did for many, many years on the show, and it was this thing where he would look at his hand, and whenever we'd be doing some emotional scene, he'd have his iPod shuffle, and he'd have his earbuds in. He'd be going off to the wherever part of the prison or whatever, and just kind of singing to himself really badly. He's not a good singer, and but then he would crouch down. He would look at his hand, or we'd be rolling and about to go, and he'd be looking at his hand. And eventually, I asked him. I was Andy, what's on your hand? Like, you got your lines like written on your hand or something? Like, what's going on? And he was like, no, it's actually something that I picked up from my acting class in England, and it was, if you know, on set, there's a lot going on around you. There's, you know, people moving lights, people trying to adjust lights, people trying to move marks, people trying to get focus, hair and makeup, doing touch-ups on you, your wardrobe, fixing your clothes, sound coming and adjusting your mic pack, and you know, and the other actor wanting to run lines, and the director giving you notes. There's a lot of stuff going on right before the camera rolls. And he was like, for some reason, you know, looking at your hand, it helps just helps block everything out and takes it all, you know, internal, and just makes it easier to just run through, you know, any sort of character things in your head, and yeah, just kind of help block things out. And so I've taken that to, you know, stuff that I do even now, and it's very helpful, and it works great. I love it.